Hey, this is Glenn. Welcome to another episode of Difficult Questions. This one, is Barbie feminist? The reason I came up with this was basically the Oscar outcry about how Margot Robbie and her director didn't get nominated. When I was in my 20s, Barbie was the anti-feminist. Barbie was the problem. Barbie was a toy that had an unrealistic body image for women. Barbie was mostly white. Barbie was thin. Barbie was into fashion, and it seemed to be nothing else. And so Barbie had no substance. And I just thought, well, what's going on? Is Barbie feminist? Is Barbie not feminist? And I decided I needed to get a co-host or a guest, a woman that really cared one way or another about Barbie. And I asked 3 people. Of course, all of them said you should get someone. You shouldn't just speak for Barbie on your own. But none of them were willing to go and be recorded. Because of privacy, they didn't really feel that they wanted to share their opinion. And I just thought, well, that's the problem. That's part of the problem. Being vocal is something that at some point you have to take the hit. Otherwise, people trample all over you. So this is going to be my attempt at speaking about Barbie and feminism from my knowledge and my standpoint and what people have told me. And I have no stake in the game. I don't care about Barbie. Barbie never spoke to me. Barbie was never a thing for me. So I don't care one way or another. But I wanted to go through what Barbie is, both the toy and the movie, and what Barbie is to people. So we started out Barbie 1959. It's a toy. It's the first doll that doesn't train women to be mothers. So it's a doll that a child can role play with that doesn't have anything to do with a man or a child. So in that way, feminism, right? You're challenging what a woman is. But then there's also fashion. I don't know what that has to do with feminism, accessories, and then beauty. There's this beauty standard. There's this tall, thin, white, blonde lady. That is a sticking point for Barbie and will always be a sticking point for Barbie, because if you're pretty and white and thin, then Barbie speaks for you. But if you're not, then Barbie doesn't necessarily speak for you, and that becomes a problem. Barbie is successful. Barbie is successful because in Toyland, she just is. And for a kid, I think that's good enough. Barbie can be an astronaut. Barbie can be the president. Barbie can be an executive. Barbie can be a plumber. Barbie can be a construction worker. Barbie can be whatever, just because Barbie is. Those are the things that Barbie the toy kind of represents. I think the problem becomes when we take the realm of a toy, of the priorities of a child, the not thought out priorities of a child's imagination, and we try to bring it into the adult world. And the pushback that Barbie got in the 90s when I was in my 20s was just that. It was, hey, women aren't shaped like that. There are more colors than white women, white, thin, tall women. And those measurements are unrealistic. And I know what Barbie is, but what does she do? And that was kind of the pushback. But now Margot Robbie and her director, they, as a producing creative duo, they pushed to have this movie made girl boss style. Hey, we're surrounding this. This is about women, for women. So I think that is very feminist, where you're saying, hey, I'm taking the lead on this and we're going to make this thing and it's going to be popular and it's for a certain demographic and they really respond to it and it makes a lot of money. And that's very feminist. But the movie itself tries to take this doll, this toy, and wrangle with all these adult things about what a woman is and being popular. You know, in the movie, I'm looking at what is the journey, and the journey of Barbie is she starts to not be Barbie. She starts to have real life things happen to her, and some people don't like her. And that is kind of the arc of Barbie becoming human or having to deal with human things. And so I was just wondering what the heroine's journey was. I've written a few things, and a lot of the stuff that I write has to deal with people and not necessarily women. And so I've always challenged myself to write female characters that their goal is not to fall in love, or it's not this romantic intent, or their goal is not to have a family. And writing those motivations is always very interesting because it's easy to put a woman's motivation in relation to growing a family. And I think one of the interesting things about Barbie, the movie, is the Midge problem of being Barbie being pregnant. That's in Barbie land. That's not a thing. That's an uncomfortable thing we don't talk about. And yes, in the patriarchy, the system of the patriarchy, the deal is, I can narrow it down, men take care of women and women take care of children. That is the base model for the patriarchy. And I think in Barbie, well, there are no children. So what does Barbie take care of? Barbie takes care of herself. Barbie does not take care of Ken. One of the things that blew me away, because I deal with homelessness and it really pulls at my heart, the fact that Barbie didn't know where Ken lived just blew me away. I thought, oh, she's not taking care of anybody. She's taking care of herself, which I guess is very Barbie. It's very girl, doll, toy centric, but in the greater world, people take care of one another. And in the greater arc of a woman, a lot of women end up becoming parents and want to take care of these children. And in order to take care of these children or have the children, they need to ally themselves with a father figure. So the woman's journey is often tied into family. And I think that Barbie challenges that. That's great. But playing that storyline out realistically starts to get tied up into things that you can't untie, which again, I think challenging is definitely feminist. I don't know if Barbie is the perfect vehicle for that challenge. One of the things that struck me about Barbie in the movie is she just wanted people to be inspired by her. But what does she do? She looks and she is, and she's all well put together, but how does that work in the greater context? We also really shy away from attractiveness in the idea of what makes someone popular. My landlady, Rita Green, the Wallpaper Queen, always joked that she got where she is on her legs and her eyes because she was a dancer and she has blue eyes and she was pretty. People said she looked like Marilyn Monroe. And to some extent, absolutely. She got hired as a dancer for the way she looked, the way she moved. So her legs, she was pretty in the face. So she got hired because she looked good. And I think that we shy away from that, even though we're always pulled to that. And Barbie is the perfect representation. I was amazed that there was one round Barbie in the movie Barbie, and the rest of the Barbies were pretty people, were skinny, pretty people. There's even a joke that Barbie gets cellulite and the world is falling down because she gets cellulite. What do you do with that? And granted, it's a comedy. It's meant for women to kind of scoff at men and men's priorities. All the men in the movie are incidental, like many women in many movies have been. So that was kind of, I think, a good time for women to enjoy that. But what do you do with that? Because is Barbie just hanging out with her girlfriends? Is that her life? Is that the journey of the heroine? Really? I don't think so. I think that's quite limiting. I was listening to a black woman feminist talk about how white women need to calm down about Margot Robbie and her director not being nominated and what feminism was. And it was this idea that feminism is just wanting what the white man has. And so being the girl boss, being successful in capitalism. And then there's this other side of feminism that is more of the meat of what feminism is, the work that goes into it, the equality. One of the things that really struck me is, to me, feminism is the search to be equal, just person. You're not a woman, you're not a man, you're a person. And America Ferrera's speech about how being a woman is hard. And I just thought, well, okay, that's an audience. You're going to women, and that's a good venting thing. And it is hard to be a woman, and you're pulled in many directions, and it's hard to be a person. I think that's why CEOs and successful men have always been stereotypically people that neglect their children, because there's only so much time in the day. And I think women have experienced that, trying to, in quotes, have it all, have a family, be a mother, be successful. Yeah, there's not capitalism and the way that we view success in the United States or the West and raising a family, they don't jive well together. In fact, this feminist that I was listening to was saying, there's this idea for feminism that free childcare for all. And I think in the United States, we hate asking the question, who pays for the kids? Because we don't have an answer. We don't like that, don't like figuring out that answer. And in Barbie land, there are no kids. So no problem. I think that Barbie can be feminist, but on this very surface level. And that's cool. If you can dig into Barbie for inspiration, great. But I think it's a toy. It's meant for children. It's meant to inspire them before they know of the realities or need to think about the realities of what it's like to be an adult and maybe what it's like to want to have a family. What is the meaning of life, right? Why are we here? Are we here for capitalism? Are we here to be a boss? Are we here to raise children? I don't know. And I think that Barbie is also feminist because it allows us to have this dialogue. One of the last things I'll leave you with, a friend of mine was a child actor, and she got a national commercial for Barbie when she was young. And she always joked that bitch paid for my first car. And so I guess Barbie is feminist because it allowed my friend the freedom to buy her first vehicle, to go wherever she wanted to do whatever she wants. And I think that Barbie is whatever you need Barbie to be. So if Barbie makes you proud, makes you happy, then great. If Barbie doesn't, then just let Margot Robbie and her director and the people who love Barbie, and you can work on other things that make you happy. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Is Barbie feminist? Thanks.